What's up, y'all? My name is Ian Edwards, and welcome to the Soccer Comic Rant. Unfortunately, we only got one supporter from a winning team on the pod, and of course, it's Alex. Boo! But we'll get to that game. Maybe we'll do it last, and we won't even. Alex will be gone by then. So that's the only way I can rig this thing. Uh, so, who should be more upset? Southampton, Arsenal, Bournemouth, or United? We'll talk about the Declan Rice second yellow card. We'll talk about
Bournemouth are
United
happy. It's,
versus
It's
Liverpool.
Everton who are
I mean
pissed.
Everton, yeah, my bad. Yeah, yeah. I feel so like we lost at home to Liverpool, and I feel worse for Everton. Like I feel real sad for them. So we'll get into that. And then yeah, you guys, Crystal Palace, Chelsea, and just the transfer window. What a transfer window! Like what a transfer window. So we'll talk games first, transfer window, then fantasy league. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Thanks for joining. Follow us on all our socials and like the pod. You know what I'm saying? And if you got any disagreements or agreements with us, hit us in the comments. So we got Alex Via, comic, and Man City fan. What's up, Alex? You feeling
What's
good?
going on? I'm feeling, I feel pretty good. I don't know why. It just feels great.
Yeah, I know why. And then we got Lee Hudson, stand-up comic, Southampton fan. How you feeling?
Ah, I mean, three games. I'm glad this is one of the few times I'm glad there's an international break.
Yeah.
Like I'm pleased to see the international break, which is that's not how football should be.
You missed the championship now?
No.
All right, we'll see. We'll see how long that takes for that to happen. What should we do first? I put out all the options. I'll let you guys choose.
I mean, United Liverpool was probably the
All right.
biggest game, wasn't it? And I'm interested to hear your thoughts.
I'm. It, uh, I feel like English pundits should be better at football. You remember a few, if you invented the sport, right? Remember when England wasn't good at football and they invented the sport? Then now we're not good at punditry and we invented the probably the sport of punditry because the reason why England wasn't good is because we played in a hacky way. We used to lump the ball forward, and now the punditry is kind of like lumping it forward and not really looking into things. Some pundits, so they're talking about like they don't know why United isn't good or why United had a bad season last season. It's clear, you know, but when you just want to not be objective and shit on the team, you ignore a bunch of things. Like I feel like we didn't play that bad today. We could pinpoint the mistakes of Casemiro and then one of Menu for the goals that we gave up. And we can pinpoint the clinicalness of Liverpool and why they scored and why they won the game. Now, we bought a player who's supposed to play in place of Casemiro. He came in late in the window. That's Ugarte. We couldn't play him today. As a matter of fact, we couldn't play him to the point that he was on his way to Uruguay for international break. But I can see like patterns of play. I can see how technical we are. I also can admit that we need to be just more edgier, more gritty. We gotta win some duels and battles. Like we gotta play harder, and that's why we got Ugarte in there. But we can't just count on a player we don't have to show that grit and that dog that we're missing out there. So if we'd have had more dog today, this would have been a closer game, or we'd have got some type of result out of it. I'm not. I don't quite not see what everybody's not seeing. I understand that 20 years ago, United broke a lot of people's hearts. You know, we ruined a lot of pundits' lives with our wins, and now that's coming back to haunt us because those same pundits whose hearts were broken as players and as kids, they get to shit on us. I'm not gonna, uh, you know, we bought 3 people. We didn't get to use them in this game. We only got to use 3. Everybody ain't fit. Like Liverpool gets to come into this game with all their starters. They're missing no one. You know what I mean? It's interested to know how this game would have went if we faced them with our starting 11 and their starting 11. You know what I mean? Like as fit as they are, like Eric Ten Hag said, they're further along, and that happens sometimes. We don't got no Haaland, even though I don't think Xerxes had a bad game, you know, but we don't got no Ugarte, you know. Matthijs de Ligt came a few weeks ago. I feel like he had a pretty decent game. We all knew that Casemiro has been like his decision-making process has aged like dramatically. You know what I mean? Like his decision-making process has Alzheimer's. That ain't the Casemiro that was at Real Madrid. I also feel like he's kind of excited for the big game and wanted to make some impressive plays and moves. So that first bad pass to Gravenbach was like, I'm going to make this pass at home for United, crack this open and do something. And that was not it. And then just, I don't know if I said this on the podcast in the first week after we won the first game, but I don't like how we're flopping and expecting calls. And I was like, this is going to come back to haunt us. I might have said it in my head, not out loud, but it's like he gets some contact from behind from Diaz, goes down and expects, it's like, hey, man, this is a big man. What are you doing? So this is bad. Like, fight for this shit. And that's the dog and stuff I'm saying. Like, come on, let's fight for this shit. Like, there was a play when Bruno passed to Xerxes. It was our first mistake. I don't think it was necessarily a bad pass from Bruno, but Xerxes, you can't let Van Dijk intercept that pass. Like, fight for that shit. Like that, it's the Premier League, fam. And I know it's just second or third game ever in the Premier League, but so Eric Ten Hag has to lift the level of the dog in this team, and if he can't, then we're just done. He's just done as a coach, period. But besides that, I saw better football than last year, even though we didn't get the result. And I can see where the mistakes cost us. You know, like if you look at all the other stats besides goals, it's pretty even. They even have, and when I looked it up, they had 28, was it blocks? Let me see, which means they were under some type of a attack from us. I'll have to find that. But what do you guys have to say about the game? I'm not going to panic till we get our whole team and we play 5 more games and we have our whole team. I'm not going to panic till then.
Yeah, I mean, it was an interesting one. Like the 3-0 scoreline, like it looks bad.
Right.
But then, like I remember like sort of catching up on the game because I didn't get to watch it live, and like I looked at the stats as well, and like you both had 3 shots on target. Possession was 53-47 in United's favor. But then like I'm watching it back and there's a point like it's about 50 something minutes in, they've just gone 3-0 up, and then like they're popping the ball around your players and their fans are like olaying the passes. And I was like, oh, this is crazy. Like it was just such a weird one because it's like, yeah, people will use it as an opportunity to shit on United. But in reality, like it was more a game of like individual errors rather than a team just coming and sweeping you away
Right.
and dominating you. It was just they were errors and they were clinical
Right.
in how they took their chances. And it was interesting listening to, I don't know if you saw the Sky Sports interview with Arne Slot afterwards, where he broke down like Liverpool's game plan about
Yeah.
how they were going to press like a certain side of the United team and where they could win the ball and create chances off you quickly. I mean, that's what they did. And yeah, I mean, you can tell like there's obviously some benefits to the way Liverpool have done their business this year and not really overhauled the team much. So like those players, although they've got a new manager and they're learning his style of play, they don't really have to learn each other because there's continuity there. There's the link ups and relationships are already there in that team. Whereas, you know, you had a new number 9 playing in this game. Xerxes was in there. You had 2 centre backs that have like, I mean, I don't know how many games they played together for Ajax, but like, you know, they're playing with different midfielders in front of them and a different, you know, team around them kind of thing. So yeah, and again, like I was disappointed in Rashford. I feel like, you know, he put a shift in, but he didn't really affect the game
Right.
as much as he could have. You know, like Fernandez was trying, Garnacho was trying. I thought Collier was decent when he came on.
I mean, I can't wait for them to play him more.
Yeah, like it's in a key position for you guys as well, and he looks like he could be trusted. I don't know if the manager's got the balls to play him and Mainu together, but I mean Ugarte, I'm sure once he's up to speed, he'll be in one of those slots.
Right.
But I heard Ten Hag talking about how like it might take him a few weeks to be like up to speed and ready to play. So, I think he didn't have much of a preseason because he was at the Copa America and stuff.
Right.
So he's still getting up to speed. But yeah, I mean, it's people will paint it as doom and gloom and United are embarrassing and this and that. But I feel like to the eye test, to the game I watched back, and in terms of the stats as well, like it's I mean, people can say what they want, but hopefully you guys will be back on track once. Well, we actually hopefully you're not back on track because
no, you were right. You were right.
The first game back is against
Southampton.
us, and I'm there. So. Yeah, but yeah, I don't think this means that, you know, because people like Ten Hag out and this United team are this and that. It's like there's too many sort of just reactionary opinions out there.
Yeah, and even before I let Alex get in there, these pundits got Ten Hag out on the turntable. They can't wait to play it. You know what I mean? They can't wait to play, and because they've made the statement that they don't think this guy's good enough. So they want to look like they're right. And the way they say, everybody talks about how we finished 8th. And it's like, bro, there's 2 trophies. There's 2 trophies. And then you know why we finished 8th. Nobody's saying Eddie Howe out because he had the same amount of injuries and they finished maybe a place ahead of us or behind us. Like it's crazy how like we know why Eddie Howe didn't do as good as he did the year before, but we don't as pundits, or they don't as pundits, ignore that. You know what I mean? Like I would never say Eddie Howe ain't a good coach, and he didn't win no trophies yet. He just finished 4th once. So how is he not a good coach? How is he a good coach? And Ten Hag ain't. So this is not, like you said, the time for doom and gloom. Just time heals everything. And then even if Erik Ten Hag loses his job, we could tell by our transfer window that we have a great front office setup and that we're going to be fine. All right, what you got, Alex?
So I guess I'll start by saying that I'm in those people that United broke their hearts when I was a kid.
Yeah.
And
you weren't even in the Premier League.
I did feel like it could have been 5. Like Liverpool scored like 2 more. There was this.
You could feel whatever you want to feel.
No, that's exactly. But
we had shots on goal
The number 8 from Liverpool. I don't know how to pronounce his last name. So Spolossi or something like that. Lee, help me with the name pronunciation. So it's something
How come you ain't asking
Spolos,
me?
because Lee is the one who knows the correct pronunciations
Of who?
of Liverpool number 8. Like their center midfielder.
Sabasala.
Yeah, Shobalai.
Okay, different pronunciations. I don't know which one is like that one. He had a clear chance to tap it in, and he like decided to like on second half, like basically.
He's not good enough. What do you want? What do you want us to do?
No, that's what I'm saying.
He
And
stinks.
there was another chance when Salah can also just Salah will score that against City. I'm seeing him driving through, and I'm like, you don't score this against United, but against City, you put a hat trick against us. So, and I mentioned it before to you, like I just feel like sometimes like something happens to your midfielder that United just open, like they just. I don't know if it's like maybe like they get it silly yellow cards in early on, and now they're limited and they cannot even get yellow cards. But I feel like when I'm watching City or even like Arsenal lately, like we're kind of like smart, like dirty smart, We're like if there's a breakthrough, you see De Bruyne, you see David, you see Silva, you see somebody pulling the share, making sure like limiting the damage. And I feel like
Right.
sometimes United, the guys just go through, and all of a sudden, like you get like the light and Martinez just kind of like going. It's just the play could have been stopped early on, That's kind of what I'm saying. And I don't know why, like the midfield, I don't know if it's Casemiro or Mainu or even Bruno, but sometimes they just let the guys go instead of just maybe foul them or do something. But if you let them through, all of a sudden you're putting Luis Diaz in a one-on-one, you're putting Salah in a one-on-one. And I saw that against Brighton, and I brought it up, but it was just Brighton didn't have quality. But now Liverpool has quality, so it's like I feel like there's the little details that if they don't get work on, it'll be the same situation as last year.
You're right. We should stop flopping and start fouling for real, for real. Like the tactical foul that Pep denies his entire career of teaching his teams. We don't do that. And like I've seen, who was I watching this week? And they got a bunch of tactical fouls, and it wasn't even like a top Premier League team. But this weekend they were like, all
Well, I
right,
was watching it against Arsenal because they had a man down, and that's kind of how they were getting by. You see Saka, you see Martinelli, those guys doing like fouls that they're not gonna give you a yellow card, but you're helping the team in preventing the damage.
right. It's smart, and we don't do it. That's what I'm saying. We need that grit, that edge, that dog. They're like, we definitely, regardless of the new personnel, everybody got to take their intensity level up because it's the Premier League, and even the bad teams got intensity, and you will lose games based on lack of intensity. So if Ten Hag can't bring that out, then we're not going to win games, and then he's going to get fired. So he has to figure that out. Like even Onslaught in his first game against Ipswich, halftime, he was like, "Hey, we're not winning these duels. I'm taking, I'm putting, was it a Kanji he put in or Kanote? I always get them mixed up because they both came from Germany.
Wait, that's in the Man City game?
Nah, in Liverpool's first
Oh,
game, he took out the young Kwanzaa and put in. I forgot, but he's from
He
the
put Kanate. He
Bundesliga.
put Kanate in.
Kanate in, and then he told the team, "We got to win our duels. We got to challenge more, and we have to definitely do that."
and
So
I like what Lee mentioned about like the front office from Liverpool, because I think like like the front office. I don't know if I believe, this is my opinion, that the front office told like the coaches that were interviewing, they're like, hey, we don't want to like completely demolish the squad. We want to kind of keep the same team. Can you coach this team with what you have? And I think like the new coach from Liverpool said, yeah, I'll take what I have. And I think the players, they already have a good understanding, and also I feel like they feel good
bless
with
you.
the coach. They feel good about the coach because the coach came in and let them keep their job. Because a lot of coaches come in and they just do like a complete, let's start from scratch.
Yeah, but
And
any coach that came to Liverpool, Liverpool was one of the best jobs to have and one of the worst jobs to have. It was bad because you have to
Correct.
follow Klopp. But like if you do follow Klopp, like it's like name if you're like Elon Musk kids after Elon Musk died. Like, yeah, you might have to live up to Elon Musk's names, but what Elon Musk has left behind financially for you to support, you're like Onslaught rolled up to Liverpool like a trust fund kid. Like those players, that team is set. They bought one guy and he's in the stands watching the game. They don't even need him right now. And it's like their midfield is stacked. Their defense is pretty solid. Offensively, like they don't even really need anybody. They just let this get this guy just in
No, they
case
can they can
because
they can play
Salah
even.
is on his last year. So all right, let's see if we can turn this guy into a replacement for Salah. We don't even need it right now. So yeah, man, they Onslaught, and he's a good coach. Yeah. Uh, which game do you guys want to talk about next?
I mean, I can bite the bullet and talk Southampton because
Okay.
yeah, I got some thoughts on that one.
Mhm. Go ahead.
Um, yeah, I mean, we lost 3-1 to Brentford. I mean, we scored our first goal in the Premier League, so um, yeah, that's the one, and it was a great goal as well. Like it was a real good finish from Shiguara, the Japanese right back we've got. Um, but yeah, it's an interesting one because for the most part, the manager has kept faith with a lot of players who helped us get up last year. He's put one or two of the new signings in. Um, but like our midfield three for every game has been the midfield three we had in the championship last year. He's kept faith with Adam Armstrong from the championship, with Harwood Bellis, with Stevens, with Bednarek. Um, and some of those guys haven't been doing it. And the manager even said in an interview after this game, he said a lot of those guys had credit in the bank because of what they did for us last season. But he said, like, I will need to change things after this game, which is what I want to hear. And I'm not against that either because
Mhm.
I feel like some of those guys made such a big contribution last year that they deserved the chance to show that they could play Premier League football. But some of them, not all of them, but some of them have shown that it's a bit too much for them in terms of the level. And we had guys who came in, some of our new signings played midweek against Cardiff, and they were on fire. So the Portuguese midfielder we signed, Mateus Fernandes, he scored a goal, got an assist, and just looked amazing midweek against Cardiff. He came on for the second half of this game and looked good, but the damage was done. We'd messed up kind of thing already. There's an 18-year-old kid from the academy, Tyler Dibbling. Spoke about him before.
He was
He came
nice.
on and he just runs at people, creates chances, just runs at people, fearless. But he's built for an 18-year-old as well. He can run at people and hold them off, kind of thing. And he's technically sound, so I want to see him starting games soon. I mean, Adam Lallana came in for a bit of the second half, and you could see he's got more quality because he was picking passes, like he assisted the goal as well. But he was just like he retained the ball at just such a high level and can see things that some people on our team can't, kind of thing. So he'll be in the mix. Cameron Archer in that Cardiff game looked sharper than any of our other forwards that have played so far this season. He again came on and didn't really get a chance to, didn't really get much service to do anything with in this game. But he'll be pushing for a start. Like I'm really interested to see what team we play against you in a couple of weeks. Because it
No,
won't
don't
be it
change
won't be
it. Don't just keep do what you do, bro. Don't change shit.
You're like, give those championship guys one more chance.
Yes, 100%,
um,
man.
yeah. But I mean, Ramsdale looked good when he came in. He made some big saves. Um, he couldn't really do anything about two of the goals, maybe the third one. But it was it's a flick on from a long throw into the box. So But he made like a massive save in the first few minutes, like diving at someone's feet in the box. And I think, he hadn't even really trained with the team. He came in lunchtime Friday and then played Saturday afternoon. So he looked good considering he hadn't, been with those defenders before, kind of thing. So
Plus, he hasn't played football, period.
Yeah. Yeah. So there's positives within the disappointment of the fact that we've still not picked up any points. And like I say, I get why the manager was showing faith in those guys and giving them the opportunity that they had rightfully earned by getting us back. But I feel like, he's hinted that he's going to have to be more ruthless going forward and change things up, and it's got to happen because we're making errors at the back. Like the goals were self-destruct. Like all the goals we've conceded this season have either come from turnovers where we've given the ball away in our own half, sometimes in front of our own penalty box, or they've come from set pieces. So they're like, avoidable goals kind of thing. Like teams aren't opening us up and playing us off the pitch. But we are pushing the self-destruct button and just coughing up chances and not being clever enough and sharp enough to get past the press.
Is your team Man United?
I mean, like there are some similarities, because the thing is that if you're playing past the press 90% of the time, the 10% will still hurt you, because that's like, we gave the ball up twice off of presses and conceded 2 goals, and that will turn a game on its head, kind of thing. So that's the risk and reward with this style of football, is that, a lot of the time we keep possession more than other teams. And sometimes we do play back to front. We start the keeper, we play all the way through the pitch, and we get a chance at the other end. But the problem is we're not creating good enough chances at the other end of the pitch, and we're not taking those chances. And then the times we are giving it away and making mistakes, we're getting punished, and we're getting punished clinically, which is the Premier League. That's the learning curve that some of our players are going through. That is, you're back in a league now where if you mess up, if you give away the ball in your own half, people are going to run through and score. It's going to happen. So yeah, it's been a bit of a harsh re-entry to the Premier League, but I'm not completely doom and gloom and lost faith or anything. It's like, this is some teething problems while the manager figures out who deserves to play and who doesn't. And we got back-to-back home games. When we come back, we got you guys, and then we got Ipswich at home. I'm going to both of those games as well. I've got my tickets for both. So back-to-back Saturdays. I'm looking forward to seeing if things change, and if we played 3-5-2 in all these games so far as well. So it's like, okay, maybe the formation needs to change as well. But yeah, we'll see. But I'm not like too pessimistic right now. If we carry this on over the next few games after the international break, then I'll be concerned. But right now it's like, okay, I understand the reasons why we've been doing what we've been doing. And the manager can see it as well. So at least he's not got the head in the sand completely. But yeah, let's see what happens.
You know what I don't like? I don't like how, because you're on this pod, you got me invested in being a Southampton kind of fan, right? Do you feel that sometimes, Alex?
You were watching the cup game against Cardiff midweek.
Yeah, and I was like, that y'all scored some, like, we should be on the pod talking about that game, because there was some worldies from both sides. What league is Cardiff in?
Championship.
So it's like, I mean, there was some, and those players and Archer and the Dibbling and like world class. So, and I just don't know why. What Armstrong? Like, I'd be rooting for Armstrong, but he feels like every time he gets a chance at the Premiership, he just wants to prove, hey man, I belong in a championship. And it's like, no, I don't. I get you up here, but y'all need to just sell me to a team down there so that we could use that money and invest it, find a Premier League player to take my place, because he's, I always root for him, but so those are the things. But yeah, I don't. I don't want you to beat us because you're our next game. We can't afford to lose to you, even though it's on the road. Like if people are saying Ten Hag out now, man, they're gonna press the play button
Just
a
get a
few
draw.
weeks now.
Just go for a draw, you know.
So what?
Just 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 share the points.
Nah, sorry, got to be selfish. But what do you have to say about what
Uh,
Lee said about Southampton?
more of a question about for Lee. But so far, how do you teams like performing or underperforming or doing just as expected? Like Leicester, Ipswich, and you guys. Like, do you feel like there's one team looks better than the other, or or you guys pretty much the
Um,
same? Point wise,
I
I feel
mean,
like it's pretty much same, right?
yeah, I mean, we've all got 1 point, I think. Oh no, they've got 1 point, we've got zero. So that's not really much so far. Obviously, there's confidence in getting a result, which they've got, and I've been impressed with Ipswich. I mean, they gave Liverpool a really good game for a lot of the game, and then sort of Liverpool's quality ended up showing in that one. I mean, they gave you guys a little bit of a scare
Hmm.
for a few minutes, and then you guys did what you do, and then steamrolled them. But they played well against Fulham this week. They got the draw. They got some good players in there. They got and Kieran McKenna, I think, is a fantastic manager. And I rate Cooper at Leicester as well, another good manager. And they gave Villa a good game this weekend. So yeah, it's a hard one to call at the moment. We're the weaker of the three at the moment, looking at the games, but I do expect that to change with the changes the manager's potentially going to make, because I feel like we got the players to come in who are better than the players we've got playing at the moment. But I mean, those two were the first two in the league last year. Leicester won the league, Ipswich went up second. We were behind them in the playoffs, so they should be better than us in theory. But yeah, I feel like we can pick our performances up. But I mean, both of them have done. Like, none of us have really, other than obviously you guys demolishing Ipswich, none of us have really been smashed by someone like fully. Yeah, I mean, we 3-1 to Brentford's not the best result. But in terms of the balance of play, it wasn't a big difference in quality. It was just we got punished for silly mistakes.
And just in Ipswich defense, they started the Premier League season rough.
Oh
Liverpool,
yeah,
and then Man City, and then this week
yeah,
they got a point, right?
Hmm.
So as soon as they
Yeah, against
played
Fulham.
somebody that wasn't in the top four last year, they got a point. So like, just so far, it feels like even though they shipped, was it 4 goals last week, something like that, to Man City, like at
Hmm.
least this week they got a point. Alex, how? So what's your review of Man City
Um,
versus who did you play?
West
Trying to
Ham.
West Ham. Yeah, West Ham.
I think that was like so far like our best game. That was the one that I think like we looked the well, maybe because it's a third game of the season, may probably make sense to for
Mm-hmm.
the team to be more playing better. But yeah, I just feel like in control. I mean, West Ham got some chances, but I just felt like overall like I don't know what it was. Maybe it was like the calmness of having Grealish, like because Grealish, I like Grealish because he brings you the whole like he doesn't lose the ball. Like if you have Sabinho, if you have Doku, they're guys who are like they're really good. They're really good attacking. But Grealish understands like, hey, I'm not gonna lose this ball. Like I don't care if people say my game changed, if Pep made me a robot. But Grealish understands that he like the concept of like let's keep the possession, and the team looks comfortable with like Grealish. Like he's just we were like passing the ball, and I think like the second goal with Haaland, there was like a little sequence of passes. It kind of like it almost felt like watching hockey where there's like a bunch just little touches around the area, and somebody takes a shot and puts the ball in the net. I feel like it was a really good game. I like, and I was a little scared at the beginning because we didn't have Foden, we didn't have Sabinho, so it's okay. What happened is we if somehow the game gets, you might need one of these guys eventually, like to break in or like a little different, something different. But no, the game was pretty much I feel like we were in control for the most part.
Did you?
Jack
Where's
Grealish back
Foden?
in the England squad as well.
Oh, that's good. Where's Foden at? Is he injured?
He got injured. Yeah,
So
he got
you
injured.
haven't you started the year, no Rodri, no EPL player of the year, and no best CDM in the world. And you got 9 points. And a cruising kind of a 9 points. You dominated some decent teams. And I know West Ham, they spent some money. They got a better coach than they had last year, pedigree wise.
I think
And
the Chelsea one. I think the Chelsea one. I wouldn't call it cruising. I think like Chelsea, if Chelsea, I think Chelsea's probably gonna do better because they kind of
yeah,
there. Nothing against Jackson, but it's just like I didn't feel any. I'm like, no way Jackson's gonna score against us, But maybe things changed, but it was just it didn't really. We were not in control. Chelsea had some chances, but it was just like besides Palmer, I just feel like I never felt like they could score. Like I don't think these guys will score like if we played for 3 games.
right. You I thought that you guys were gonna lose to Arsenal as far as the title, but the way you're playing now early and and without key players, that means you have another level to go up. So
We'll probably find out on 2 weeks. 3 weeks. Like City plays Arsenal on the 22nd, September 22nd. Like it's basically after international break. We play Champions League, and then we play Arsenal. We play Inter, then we go play Arsenal. So I think I think like that'll be a good test for Arsenal. I think like City, we don't have to prove that we can beat Arsenal. I think it's more, can Arsenal come to Manchester City and win the game?
can you beat Arsenal with Sterling, who's now after the transfer window a part of Arsenal, and he's gonna be like he might not do it this game because it's I don't know how much training he's gonna get in, but how much do you think them getting Sterling gives them a better
If
shot at the
Sterling if
title than
Sterling
they?
if Sterling plays against City, he'll score. Every time he plays against City, he somehow like he becomes like a demon. But once he's not playing City, he goes back to Sterling, like a Sterling mode. So I don't think Arteta's gonna play him. I don't think if he plays him, I'll be worried because he's gonna score against us.
Why you don't think Arteta's gonna play him?
No, I don't think he's gonna play him. But if Arteta goes back and watch film, it's like somehow every time Sterling plays City, he scores. I should play him instead of Saka, or I should play him instead of someone else. And he somehow Sterling will score two
Why
goals.
wouldn't he use him as a sub?
Yeah, he can use him as a sub, but from the beginning there will be 90 minutes of Sterling playing one of his best matches.
I hope so. I hope so. Uh damn, what did I wanted to talk about Sterling coming there. I also wanted to talk about but just maybe here's my worry with Man City. Like Haaland just scored back-to-back hat tricks. He sat down all summer and watched the Euros and watched the Copa. And it probably pissed him off that he internationally was not involved in the Euros. But he's like, I'm getting you motherfuckers back for making me have to watch you all summer. I'm fully rejuvenated and it's on. Like, I'm doing this to you now. But now, Rodri is getting the same amount of summer rest as Haaland. And he's going to come back fully rejuvenated because he's a pet player. You don't think he's just chilling. He's getting ready to be ready to jump right back in the mix. So that's what I'm worried about. Uh, so I just wanted to say that.
No, that's a good point because actually during some people like internal reporters from City like on the know, they're
Mhm.
basically saying that like the reports are that Haaland is like the healthiest he's been for the past 4 years. Like last season he was playing every game he had some, I mean, players are always normally playing with something in their body, some kind of little pains or something. But another saying like Haaland, like he feels fantastic. He's got the best treatment. He's rested, and you see it on his game. Like he's just doing like his sprints that like we're playing different. Like against West Ham, we're sending through balls, which would normally, like, I feel like Pep teams, like through balls are basically Pep's like, no. I don't wanna, we should not be doing that. But we've been doing it. We did it against Ipswich, we did it against West Ham. So I think we're gonna be seeing more of a Haaland. Like if a team give us chances to play through balls, Pep is gonna be sending him, and I'm all for that.
I mean, a reason why you have to play a lot of through balls, or you got to play a lot of through balls. And Haaland said that, like, once you went up one, like, West Ham had to get back in the game. And West Ham can't play this type of football. They play under Moyes. They have to attack. They spent some money. They got this new coach. So it's going to give you the opportunity when you guys win the ball back from counter pressing to, like, attack them in the way that you attack them, especially if you score the first goal. Most teams are going to try and get something back. They're not just going to keep on letting you attack them. So it works out great for you guys to put teams in a position where it's like he can play off the shoulder of their defenders. Lee, I want to ask you, so let's go to the Brighton Villa game, the Brighton Arsenal game. Tied 1-1. I want to know if you're thinking the same thing I'm thinking about this Declan Rice second yellow. So go ahead, lay it out the way you feel it played out.
There's a lot of like nuance to it, which is that I kind of agree a little bit with Arteta when he said that, okay, if you're gonna uphold the law of the game there, which is, someone trying to block a restart, then you need to uphold it all across the pitch in all instances. Which is, I think, the main thing across all refereeing that people get annoyed about is the lack of consistency. Now, Rice is stupid for turning around and just towing the ball away. But the Brighton player was clever because he couldn't take that free kick because the ball was rolling anyway before Rice towed it away. So he couldn't take that free kick, but he thought, I'm going to swing like I'm taking it. And he got away with a free kick on Rice as well, like, as in, like, he got to kick him for free and not get pulled up for it. So it was clever. It was clever by the Brighton player to do that. And yeah, because like I say, the ball was moving, so you can't take that free kick anyway. So yeah, I mean, I can see why the ref has given the second yellow, because it's, like I say, Rice, you just got to walk away. You can even stand in front of it, but it's the whole, like, moving the foot out and kicking the ball, even if it was just a little toe kind of thing, like, it gives the referee an opportunity to give him the second yellow, which is the stupid thing. Like, you're 1-0 up. You don't need to do that. Just, yeah, it's a bit of a head loss from him there. But then I do agree that, there's the bit where João Pedro has, like, smashed the ball away off the field earlier on in the game. Yeah, that's just the thing, that it's consistency. It's like, okay, if you're going to pull a booking out for Rice doing that, you need to, because players do that every game. Like, they'll pick the ball up and throw it away, or they'll just tap it away or something. Like, that happens on the regular. So it's like, okay, well, if you're clamping down on it, then you've got to clamp down on every instance of it. You can't just pick and choose the moments. I don't know if it's just because it was a heated incident, because obviously the players, like, then kicked Rice and swung through, like, and everyone sort of piled in kind of thing. It's not like a normal situation where someone stands in front of a free kick. So yeah, it all got a bit silly. And yeah, like I say, Rice has given the referee an opportunity to book him, which, and the tackle he got the first booking for was stupid as well. Like, that was crazy late. Like, that could have, under some referees, might have given him a red for that, because it was so late. I think the only thing saved him in that one was because he didn't have the studs up. It was a flat foot,
right?
Like, toes pointing down. So yeah, I think that's what saved him there, kind of thing. But it was reckless as hell.
So that's a good point for me to start asking you some questions. So that first tackle was reckless, and that's definitely at least a yellow.
Oh, now, yeah, 100%.
Now, let me ask you a question. Why do you think Veltman kicked the ball on him without even stopping the ball for the free quick kick?
Because he's trying to get him sent off, which is clever.
But was it the and why do you think he kicked him after that? Like, remember,
Well, no,
because
he was swinging like he was trying to take the free kick.
so this is what I feel like the context that's just missing from this whole incident. I feel like Veltman was pissed about the challenge that Rice did on him, period. That's why he kicked the ball at him, and also why he pretended to try to kick the ball and miss and kicked him on purpose at the end. And Veltman should have got something for that. But which puts me in the defense of the referee. I feel like the ref saw that challenge and said, that's a yellow, but I'm going to let it slide. And then after he ignored that, and then Rice kicked the ball away, he's like, that's 2 yellows. I got to give him 1. And that's why he got the yellow for kicking the ball away. Now, so I think everybody's like forgetting that initial challenge. If you look at that initial challenge, that's mostly a yellow on most days. And I think he's like, I let him off, but he just kicked this ball away. Even though I think this is all on Veltman and he shouldn't have let Veltman, like Veltman should have got something for just Rice walked away and Veltman kicked the ball on the back of his foot. Like that ain't on Rice. He literally walked away. And then Veltman kicked him again. But I do think the ref mind was on the initial challenge on Veltman. And then as all right, Rice, you just kicked the ball away. I got to give you this yellow here. And I think the media is like focused on everything after that initial challenge because it's just makes shit more spicy. You know, do you have anything to say on this whole thing, Alex? Or you don't give a fuck? City won,
You know what?
and
I
that's
think
all you
like
care
I
about.
gotta I care about it. I care about it. I care about it significantly because I thought Rice was gonna be suspended against City, but then it turns out he's not suspended. He's just only 1 game, right? Like because he's
Yeah.
double yellow. It's just like, oh man.
Hilarious. Before we get into the other games, what
But
was the? Go ahead.
it was sorry, but I think like what I didn't understand, the play was just weird. But to me, like my head was just wrapping around it, and I was like, okay, he got a red card. I'm gonna move on with my life. But I think like to Lee's point, like the ball's not stopped.
Right.
I feel like that play should not have counted. So, but I don't know. It was just I think we can spend like an hour talking about it, and we wouldn't be able to decide what was the correct call.
Yeah, I agree with you. Like the referee was wrong, Veltman was wrong, and Rice was wrong. So in that combination, like it's not going to help for a correct decision to come out of that shit. So yeah, you're right. What was the craziest or the most outstanding thing about the transfer window for either of you?
I think the Sterling is Jadon Sancho. Like I did not I was not expecting those. I was not expecting like those. So Sterling, I thought he was gonna end up in United. For some reason I thought he was gonna end up in United. I was already making my post saying like, look at his snake trying to play in every team, and I was like, oh, okay, he went to a different team. Sancho to Chelsea. I don't know I don't know, man. I feel like they got too much. They got too many wingers. That's gonna be fun because I think like Chelsea's problem isn't really the wingers. I think like it's more in the center mid and stuff. So I don't know what that guy's gonna do. That to me shocked me. I wasn't expecting that one.
What you got, Lee?
Yeah, I mean those ones are pretty interesting. I'm still amazed we got Ramsdale.
Yeah,
if I'm honest, and the fact that we got him permanently, and we managed to drive
that
Arsenal
price
down on the price as well.
Jesus
18 million plus potentially about 5 million in add-ons. Was pretty wild considering the starting price was 30, and we managed to talk them down. Because we ain't got 30, so it had to be that price if we were going to do it. But there's a lot of interesting like backstory to it as well because He's friends with a guy we had on loan last year called David Brooks, who's a Bournemouth player. And Brooks played for us in the playoff final against Leeds at Wembley. And Ramsdale's like, they used to play for Bournemouth together. Ramsdale's one of his best friends. So Ramsdale came to the game. That's where he was in the fancy dress as Hagrid. Like he was in the costume and stuff, and he was sitting like in the front row at the playoff final. And after we won that game, there was a party at a hotel with all the players getting drunk and celebrating. And Ramsdale went to that party.
Yeah.
And apparently he was like the life and soul of that party. Like the players all loved him. He was popular kind of thing. Like from apparently that's where like the sort of the link started kind of thing. And then like Russell Martin, our manager, had been in contact with him over the summer, but there wasn't really anything happening.
Tapping him up. I guess it's not tapping him because the window's open.
Yeah, and obviously, he's out of favour at Arsenal as well. But apparently, like we'd made some inquiries at Arsenal, but they, the price was too high. And then sort of as they got closer to the window, that's when things started to move. And yeah, I mean, apparently he really was impressed by the way the manager sold the club to him, and he obviously, like I say, knew some of the players after getting drunk with them. So that one was I was shocked when it actually happened, because I saw the links and I was like, the transfer makes sense because he's out of favour at Arsenal. He wants to play. We need a keeper. Like we need to upgrade that position. But I was like, I don't know if the finances will work. I wasn't sure if it was going to happen. For that reason, plus there was other clubs interested in him as well. Like Bournemouth looked at potentially taking him back. Apparently Ajax and a couple of other clubs in Europe wanted him as well. So yeah, I'm glad that one managed to go through.
I think that's a big for you, because even last week we talked about it a little bit, and I was like, I want you to get Ramsdale, and I feel like he was like, hey, if Pickford could play for a shitty team and become England's number one, I need to play for a team there's gonna be shots.
Yeah,
all
I
game,
feel like you watch
I can
a podcast.
prove that I can be a better keeper than Pickford. Yeah. So, but I feel like
you get more action with us.
You get more action. Sure. You get more practice. You get to show out more. And I feel I want Ramsdale to be England's number one over Pickford anyway. So I do like that move for you. What were you going to say, Alex?
Yeah, probably Ramsdale's watching the podcast and he's like, you know what? Ian said I should go play at Southampton. Like, I think he's right.
What makes you think I didn't text him, fam?
That's true. I was surprised with Ivan Toney going to what league is he going to? Saudi Arabia or
Al Ahly in Saudi Arabia?
I remember like during summer there was a lot of noise about him going to Arsenal, going to like Chelsea and stuff. So I thought he was gonna be like a player the Premier League teams were gonna fight for him. And I think like maybe his international career might be over with England. Can he still be called to the team?
That's gonna be tough.
I think like it was clear that obviously with the way he played, like Watkins became like the number 2 to Kane with like the goal against the Netherlands and things. And I think Solanke going to Tottenham, once he's healthy and playing there, that'll put him up higher up the order as well. And people forget as well that Ivan Toney played most of his career in the lower divisions. Like I'm pretty sure he's doing okay financially. But he played a lot of years in the lower leagues, not earning much money, and the chance to go and earn like the crazy money he's earning out there. Like I'm like, yeah, go make your bag. And he's played with some good players at Al Ahly as well. They got Firmino and Mahrez at that club, so they'll be a fun team. Like I mean, it is still, money aside, it is sort of semi obscurity, which I'm sad for because I think he still had a lot to offer. Like you say, in the Premier League, and there were clubs I think that could have done with him. Like I think he would have been an upgrade on Jackson for Chelsea if they wanted a centre forward. He would have been an upgrade on Arsenal's options there. I know Havertz is playing well and scoring there, but he's not an out and out. Tony would give him something different if they wanted to use him So yeah, it's a shame that he moved there, but I mean, like I say, I can understand it. Like, go get your money.
Yeah, just on that trade or that, yeah, just on that. Like I think Ivan Toney was only on 20 grand, and I say only for a footballer a week at Brentford, and and so like you, and he's 28, and like you said, he's played a lot of non-league football, and it's like, do I try to help England or me? And he would have went to one of those teams that you mentioned, Alex, but surprisingly, nobody went in hard for him. You know what I mean?
To me,
And
to me that was the shocking
let me
part.
say this. Let me say it.
Yeah.
And the price, he was completely gettable. So I don't know if that's the end of the transfer window, the end of year sale. Like everything that's up here goes down to here because the new year about to start. And so it's a shame because United paid more for, or just around the same amount for someone way less experienced who, like, and we could have used uh, 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 a Tony, you know what I mean? So, but, and we would have paid decent enough wages for him to consider us, or somebody else would. But I just think it's all a timing thing. And, but now, shit, he's going to make enough money. I hope he likes it over there. And, at the end of his career, he's happy with the decision. And like you said, there's going to be some quality players he's going to be playing with over there. And I, he wasn't making a lot of money compared to footballers.
Yeah.
And that their salary was definitely a draw. I like when they showed him walking in London, like when reporters were trying to ask him some questions, he didn't look happy about the decision. But that bank vault, that better money he's going to be sleeping on in the next few years, I hope it's comfortable for him. What were you going to say?
No, yeah, I was basically gonna kind of like say what you said, that like to me I think it was definitely the timing, because I feel like before the Euros, I thought during the Euros he was gonna be announced to be any team actually, like I mean any team actually in the top six. I feel like they could have, when maybe besides City, like because of Julian Alvarez thing, it wouldn't make sense. But I think he was gonna end up in, like, I thought he was gonna stay in the Premier League with like a bigger team. But obviously when they offer you the money, you kind of have to do it. And maybe he comes back. Maybe he comes back to the Premier League in 3 years. 31.
I don't know. A lot of teams are saying how much PSR fucked them. Like a lot of but nobody got fucked more by PSR than Ivan Toney, because everybody was like, we don't got that type of money for how much he's really worth. And then
the starting price was 80 million.
And that's not crazy. But as soon as PSR started taking points from people are like,
He does strike me, like Alex said, though, he does strike me as a sort of player that would end up in 2 or 3 seasons signing for like West Ham when he's like 30 or 31 or something. I could see that happening.
That's how West Ham likes him. They got Fulkirk right now. He's about 31.
Well, there's a bunch of players in that league. Like, I don't know if you guys saw Kante play like during the Euros. He looks so in shape. I almost called Man City. I was like, can we bring him? Can we replace? Can he be a sub for Rodri? Because I don't know if maybe like that league is like they're playing less games. They got better. They're just, I don't know what it is, but they just look like all those players. They had so much more energy, like the players that I'm used to watching. Like, what is this guy is doing? Maybe they're not being regulated. They can do any substances they want to put in their body. I don't know what it was.
Who do you call when you call Man City?
There's only, actually, I don't know if you know, but there's only 20 Man City fans. So if you call the 1-800 number, they actually pick that up. Like, the owner picks up the call.
Oh, okay. It's
good to know.
One player I was intrigued to see if he went anywhere, and he didn't go anywhere, was Osimhen, though.
What's going to happen to him?
Conte signed Lukaku, who's like his boy, and Like, I don't know. I mean, Conte likes 3-5-2, so he could play them together.
Right.
But yeah, it was an interesting one because he was being linked here, there. Like he was being linked with Al Ali as well. But it turned out they could only sign one of them. At one point, I thought they were going to sign both him and Tony. And then he was linked with Chelsea as well and PSG. But then, yeah, just nothing happened. But I mean, they put a big price tag on him, and I think that was an issue as well. Like they were.
Napoli's like it's rough. It's a rough because the guy, what's his name, that Kabashurila, he's also been trying to leave Napoli, but he's been called hostage. Like if you sign up for them, you're staying there for like till your contract ends.
It took 3 years of extra probation for Koulibaly to leave Napoli past his prime. Like they good luck getting. You need the best lawyers if you're a good player to get out of there because they don't make that shit easy.
They got Scott McTominay and Billy Gilmore now. They got a Scottish centre midfield now.
I mean, yeah, and that's another thing we need to talk about. Like they got a Scottish midfield, so McTominay has some company, and hopefully Conte can get something out of Scott. Like a lot of people are saying United people like he was DNA of United. I don't think so because he didn't want it in moments when he should want it, and that's the United DNA. He did score some big goals, but sometimes I need you to trap the ball in a tight space and look for a teammate and pass it to get the pressure off the team. Sometimes I need you to come close and take the ball from the defense, turn around and make a pass upfield. And sometimes I need you to guard a cut back. And he wasn't doing those things, but I'm happy for the fact. I'm happy for the reception that he got in Napoli.
Yeah. This was a fitting way for him to leave United with you giving him a final rant about his flaws.
Yeah,
one last time before he goes.
I'm like Neil on Willian. You know what I mean? McTominay's my Willian. You know, Neil always went in on Willian. But I am happy about the reception that he got in Napoli. When you've been at some place for all this time, you think that's all you see is that place. And to go somewhere else and get a reception like that, like you're a beetle in a strange land, and to be like, oh, okay, wait a minute. And then the next thing you hear is the other Scottish kid is coming. It's like, okay. And then you're going to see some familiar play faces. You're going to see Lukaku. You played with him at Man United. So it's like, oh, this Napoli could become home right quick. Like it's kind of there's some comfort to home there. He won't feel like isolated, and so he should be all right. And I wish him the best. The Jadon Sancho thing that you mentioned, like why did he go to Chelsea? Let me tell you why Jadon Sancho chose to go to Chelsea in a place where you don't think he's going to get much playing time, because that's how bad he wanted to leave United. And that's how bad we needed to get rid of him, because he'd rather go someplace where he might not get playing time. He has to join a food line to get playing time. You know what I'm saying? He has to join a bread line, a communist bread line to get playing time. He'd rather do that than stay at United. That's how much he didn't want to play for us. So this is a good deal for us because we got rid of somebody that during the preseason didn't give it his all and was never going to give it his all. Like he's off United completely, and we just didn't need that around. So I'm glad he's gone. I still wish him the best. Like I like that kid. I don't want him to be a flop just because he ain't playing for us. I just don't want him to be a flop with us. So, and as long as we keep doing what we're doing, and I trust our front office, the board pyramid that we got, and all the work that they did. Props to them for the sales and the buys, because we sold a lot, and we bought a lot, but we brought in some money. So good for us, you know.
I'm gonna have to hop up soon, but I'm gonna go to an NFL draft, fantasy football draft. This is when we're rocking the New York Jets.
How
It's
come
funny
you're a
'cause
Jets fan?
man, it's like the same thing with Man City. Like it's those teams that I don't know. If I ended up doing it. To be honest, like the whole reason is Mark Sanchez. I don't know if you guys know Mark Sanchez.
Yeah.
He used to
Oh,
go.
okay.
Yeah,
He used to play for UCLA, right?
USC.
And then USC, and then he went to the Jets. Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
You like to follow Mexican players.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
Right,
Yeah.
that's
Bad,
cool.
bad mistake. But anyways, I was gonna talk. I was really quickly just gonna mention that I did not like originally. I was not a fan of the new Champions League format. I thought it was silly. I thought it was complicated. I thought it was gonna be more games. But after seeing it, I think like they come out with like a good system. There's so many good matches that are gonna be happening that I think like they nailed it.
Do you understand it though? I don't understand it.
Yeah, it's just
What
like
happens after every team plays 8 games? That's what I want to know.
the top eight advance, the basically top eight advance, the 9 through whatever that's basic like the second and third best play each other.
In a playoff.
Yeah, and like
So
on
then,
an elimination game.
just one elimination game or a double?
I think it's just one. I think it's just one. So whoever scores more points. Actually, maybe two. I don't know, but I just know like it's based on points now. So every game kind of matters because normally during the group stage, I don't know, at least for City or some or other teams, after 3 games, you already advanced. You don't have to worry about it. But now you kind of have to be stacking points, otherwise you have to go play in the elimination round.
Yeah. So I like that you said that because I'm a little bit more interested now. But 9 through how many has to go into this playoff thing?
So the first eight, basically first eight advance, then like the 9 through 16, they have to play 17 through. So there's gonna be 8 teams eliminated, and the non first eight they play each other to see who advances.
And then how many are going to be left after they
16.
advance?
16.
16? Damn.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
then what? They play the
And
regular.
then like regular like what you're used to after the group stage starts, like quarterfinals and semifinals, all that.
So they start another group stage?
No more group stage. It's just after that we go back to the bracket.
Of 2 doubles head to head. Okay,
Yeah.
home and away.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, it's going to be a lot more injuries. Cool. You know how many players like sat down on the pitch with hamstrings by the 3rd game on Saturday? Veltman, who was probably injured by that tackle that Rice gave him. That's why he was so pissed and he kicked the ball. Like he sat down, Milner sat down, Timber sat down. Like, people are getting injured out there already. But all right, Alex, thanks for joining. Enjoy your Jets fantasy draft. What else should we talk about? We want to talk about Crystal Palace versus Chelsea, and then Spurs getting their ass whooped by. Thank you, Newcastle. Thank you. You stole that one. I like the way you stole that one. You made Spurs feel like they had that shit, and it's the most spiteful way to beat Spurs. Like you've pounded them before, beat them 4-0, but this probably hurt Spurs fans the most. They dominated you. They were on top of you. They tied the game, and then they're looking for the winner. And then Joe Linton goes to receive the ball like the way I wish McTominay would go to receive a ball from the defense, turns ex-Leicester player around, looks upfield, goes to Murphy, who I don't even know how he's still at Newcastle after they got taken over. That was one of the players on the list to be axed, and he has survived and he's improved his game. So God bless him. He makes the run, passes the ball to Isak. Net is wide open. Isak can score if everybody's in the net. Scores 2-1, and Newcastle dagger dagger to Spurs. And I know I wasn't there, but I know Martin, if he was watching this game, thought they had this one. And oof, I'd love to see that goal go in when you're around. That's the only thing I missed this weekend.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, yeah, Tottenham dominated that game as well. Just so much more of the ball, so many more shots, but yeah, Newcastle were clinical when it came. And this is how bad Tottenham were in front of goal, that even Newcastle scored their goal as well, because that was a real mix up at the back, and like that ball should have never got where it did anyway. And then Dan Burn, I mean, just decided to smash it in his own net. So
yeah. I'm gonna try and look at some of the stats on that game for Newcastle. 20
66,
shots,
34 possession.
Damn. They played Newcastle like they were like, first of all, if you look at that possession, it looks like this was a home game for Spurs. The Spurs was on the road. And then so they made a home team, a quality home team, look like a road team. They had 500 passes to 261. Newcastle had 70% pass accuracy. Spurs had 84. I mean, their XG, Google doesn't show me XG. I don't know what the XG is for that game, but there was one period in the first half when Spurs was just having target practice. And there was one save that Pope made. I can't remember if it's in the first half, but he had to Superman that hole out the top of the net. And but yeah, I'm just I'm I didn't know we were gonna lose, but this definitely made me happy. And I knew Martin was going to be on the podcast this week because of that. What do you think about this? Chelsea midweek, they lose to Servette at Servette. They have a home game now against Crystal Palace. It's tough for Crystal Palace. They haven't won or gotten any points all season. Their coach is rated because of how he ended the season last year with Crystal Palace. They had to get something. Like, what do you think of this game?
I mean, I've watched this one back on like the highlights, and it looked like it was pretty much like all Chelsea for the most part.
Yeah.
Lots of chances. Like Palmer had a couple of good chances. They were just all over them. And then, Palace were like dangerous on the break, and they created some stuff as well. But, again, looking at the stats, like way more shots for Chelsea, way more possession, but got to put the ball in the back of the net. I mean, they eventually did get the goal with Jackson from Palmer's assist. But yeah, I mean, like I say, Palmer flashed one wide. He forced a good save from the keeper off a free kick as well. But yeah, I mean, that goal from Eze is you give him a chance, and he can pull off some magic, like he did there. So that was just, if you don't kill them off, they've always got that in their locker that he can pull a goal out, or Mateta will pull a goal out, or something. Mateta will bundle one in, or Eze will do something spectacular, which is what happened here. And yeah, just amazing technique on that finish as well, because he just opened his body up and sort of just caressed it almost into that corner. Ridiculous finish. So I mean, I like Palace. I'm pleased for them because I feel like they're a likable football club.
Mm-hmm.
They got a manager I like, they got players I like. So credit to them for keeping Gay as well and fighting off Newcastle's attempts to prize him out of there. They got Chalobah on loan from Chelsea. They've given him a home. They've given Eddie Nketiah a home as well. These are all guys as well, because obviously Crystal Palace are a South London club, and these are all South London guys. Like Eze's from South London, and Nketiah's from South London, Chalobah's from South London. So I like that they're sort of almost creating like an identity of players that are from that part of town as well. Like I think that's quite cool. I think they've got a couple of other players as well.
And they're all English too. Like, I
Yeah,
feel like when I saw Crystal Palace's lineup on TV, it had so many English players in it, like including Wharton and and you just mentioned three players that didn't even play for them this week. So that
yeah.
team is super English, super London. So it's like now I'm gonna like kind of root for them more than you know. And it's like those players could end up now. Crystal Palace is a bridge to the England team right now too.
Yeah. But Gay and Klein in defence, they're both from South London too.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty cool. I like that. And yeah, those guys when they come in, I'm sure they'll contribute. I'm pleased for Nketiah as well for getting that move because I feel like I've said before on here that I feel like he needed to get out of Arsenal because Arteta kept sort of flirting with him being like a starting striker, but just always kept him as like a side piece.
Right,
kept
right.
like kept telling him he's going to be the main piece, and then just never did it. And I think if he hung around, he would have just always got that treatment there.
Yeah, Arteta never took him out for Valentine's Day. Never sent him roses. Called him late at night after midnight when Valentine's Day was over. Yeah,
that's it. So yeah, he needs to go somewhere where he's going to be loved, and hopefully he will at Palace. Because I feel like there's potential in there. He just needs to play, and he needs to play more than just a run of 2 or 3 games here and then back on the bench for a month kind of thing. But it's a hard team to get in right now, Palace, because they play with one striker, and that's Mateta at the moment. And him and Nketiah are different types of forward. So, the manager might use them for different games, or he might play both of them if he decides to go 2 up front. But yeah, it's a good option for them to have. And like I said, I think Chalobah's a really smart signing for them because I feel like he's a good replacement for Anderson that went to Fulham. So yeah, hopefully he can get game time there and find his confidence back because he's a player that I really rate. So yeah, it's a good result for them though. A good point, especially like you say, didn't even have those new signings in there and available, and they still managed to claw the point even though Chelsea were wasteful.
Yeah. And I was talking about how I like their buys, and I'm happy for those players, especially anybody who escapes Chelsea Island or gets out of the Alcatraz of just being on that island where Marisco puts those players that he doesn't want in his squad, and so Trevor Chalobah does not deserve to sit out a season on some we don't need you squad. You know what I mean? He deserves to play. So good for him. And if there's any, maybe by December or January when it opens and Newcastle is serious about Gueye and they pay the extra $5 million that they didn't want to pay, because that's how far they were apart. And then Chalobah can slide in there, or they could just alternate, So so good for them. And a great goal by Eze. And yeah. Is there anything else we should discuss?
Everton and that collapse against Bournemouth.
God, man. And I'm a United fan, and I feel so bad for Everton. Like, so I was in San Francisco doing the punchline, so the hotel room had that game on. So I was like, I don't know if I necessarily want to watch this game for my next game. So I forgot what game I put on, because there's like 4 or 5 games on at the same time. So I was watching Peacock and looking up at that. And so I was watching a game on Peacock and looking up at that. And then I was excited for Everton to take a 2-goal lead. I was excited for Calvin Lewin to get a goal. And then all the chances that Everton created early, they was just on top of Bournemouth. And I was like, this is great. This is great. And then I wasn't even worried when Bournemouth scored their first goal. This is when I didn't start to worry, but I was like sending them some advice. When it got to 90 minutes And then the ref added 6 minutes extra time. And Everton kept attacking. I was like, hey, Everton, you ain't Man City.
Yeah.
I know this feels like you Man City today, but you ain't Man City. This is time for y'all to back down a little bit and just get defensive and see this out.
Also, like, I was like, what have you done with the real Sean Dyche at that point? I was like, he normally wants to part the bus from the first minute. Why are they going crazy now?
Yeah, like do what you do. No, your thing is to be defensive. And now you got the upper hand. And this is a perfect time for Everton to be Everton and stop being or trying to be Man City. And then they kept on being Man City. And then Bournemouth said, yo, you Everton. And they just countered them and ran back down the field, put a bunch of crosses in because they're disorganized, because they're trying to defend these counters. Everybody's not in position. And man, what a collapse. So that was tough to watch. Like if I felt that bad, I'm not an Everton fan. I could just I can't even.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty devastating. What did you think about it?
I mean, even just to get pegged back to 2-2 was devastating if you're an Everton fan.
Yeah,
from 2-0 up, and then to see the third goal go in, like I would have been losing my shit in that stadium if that was my team doing that, because yeah, that's just the most horrible thing to witness as a football fan. Like I would rather see my team get beaten 6-0
hilarious
than have that happen. Because you can wallow in that.
Right.
But that was just brutal to have that happen in that way. But yeah, man, I mean, I guess I got to be thankful for Everton because I think they're the only team below us in the league now. Just checking that table. They're bottom. We're second bottom, so thanks, Everton.
Right. And let me just ask a question, because you just said something very interesting. For the people that watch the pod or listen to the pod, would you rather lose 6-0 or have victory snatched from you in the dying second of the game? Like, what is worse? That's a question. What's your answers? Like, both of them are horrible scenarios, but which one is least worse? Yeah. All right, I guess that's it. Next week is International Week. Shout out to Angel Gomez.
He's in.
What a story, man. Ex-United player. Didn't make it at United. Went to Portugal. Ended up in France. Played for England's under-21 under Lee Carsley. Was a central midfielder, press resistant. They won the under-21. Was it the World Cup or
Euros?
Euros. And Lee Carsley becomes the head coach of England's first team. And you get a call. And a kid that couldn't make it at Man United, it's kind of been journeyman around Europe, gets a British call-up. And I don't disagree with this call-up because I've seen him play in that under-21 tournament. And I was like, damn, United needs that guy that can do that. You know?
So, yeah, him alongside Mainu could be nice.
Yeah, man. So it's crazy that it didn't work out or we had to let him go.
Yeah, and there's a couple of other young guys that got call-ups as well, like Tino Livramento, called up for the first time, ex-Chelsea, ex-Southampton, now at Newcastle. Morgan Gibbs-White, who I think always plays well for Nottingham Forest, pretty much. He was part of Carsey's under-21 team as well. So he's brought a few of his guys in. He's brought some people back in as well, like Grealish is back in, Maguire's back in.
I got to question that. Even though Maguire made a great tackle today,
Mm,
that would have made it 4 and super embarrassing.
yeah. I mean, he only missed out on the Euros because of injury, though, rather than anything. But so yeah, it'd be interesting to see how those games go. Like the Ireland game will be heated for reasons outside football. And it's like yeah, that one goes beyond football. So that'll be interesting to see because it's in Dublin as well, I think,
Yeah.
that one. So that'll be quite the atmosphere at that game. They will be fired up for that. So yeah, that'll be it'll be interesting to see what selection he goes with for the starting team, because I've no idea. I don't know if he's gonna sort of give his under 21 boys like a few minutes of experience, or if he's going to be like, nah, I back these guys. I'm going to play one or two of them from the start. So yeah, it'd be interesting to see how much of a shake-up there is from Southgate, and who he goes with in these games. Because obviously, based on the squad selection, it seems like he's his own man. He's not just sort of keeping it going in in completely the same way. So yeah, I'm interested. It'll be interesting to see how those games go.
What style of football does he play? Like, what do we expect?
He prefers, because he was employed. He was a youth coach at Man City when Pep was manager still.
Oh,
So
okay.
he learned under Pep for a bit, and he wants, and like the FA thing is they want to play like attractive football, like dominate possession, create chances. He had to abandon that in the final of the Euro under 21 Euros because he played Spain, and they went defensive because they needed to,
Right.
and then they won the game playing on the counter. But he's pretty much said, like, with this England team, he'll want to play on the front foot, he'll want to dominate. So yeah, I'm interested to see how that looks on the pitch, and see if it's noticeably different from maybe Southgate's approach if he plays with a bit more freedom. But yeah, they're games that because I can't remember who the other game's against.
I
Yeah, I'm
knew it
looking
too,
forward to
but I
watching
can't
them.
remember right now. Yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing that. Wanted to ask you a question, but
Fantasy League?
oh yeah, let's do fantasy league.
Yeah. Oh, Finland is the other game,
Yeah.
which should be a bit easier. That's at home as well. That'll be a bit easier than the Ireland game for sure. But yeah, Fantasy League, interesting week. So Brian Avina is top still after last week. He did okay this week, but some people are closed in. Ahmad Zekri, who was up there last year, he's in second still. I had the second highest score of the week.
Oh yeah. You had
In
Haaland
fantasy
again?
football. I did have Haaland, but I didn't captain him, which was a mistake, because otherwise I would have got the highest score of the week. But Scott Cooper got the highest score with 95.
Damn.
95 points this week, which puts him up into third. I got 89. So I was the second highest in the league. So I'm up to 8th now out of 40. Martin's in 5th, but Martin only got 80 points. So I gained 9 points on Martin this week. I'm shutting the gap already. But I played my wild card, which meant I could change my entire team if I wanted. And I changed most of it.
Oh yeah.
So I now have Salah and Haaland. So they got me a bunch of points. I had Mbumo because I was like, I love my team, but I think he's going to do something against us. And I was right. He got 2 goals. So he got me a bunch of points. I had Alisson, got a clean sheet. I had João Pedro, scored against Arsenal. I had Semenyo, scored against Everton. But my biggest mistake was I captained Cole Palmer because I thought, he got 3 assists and a goal against Wolves. I thought Palace at Stamford Bridge, he might open them up. And he did, but he only got 1 assist. So if I'd have captained Salah or Haaland, I could have got into the 100. I could have broken 100 points. But I did not. So, but still a good week. Like I say, I got the second highest. So that's cool. But yeah, congrats to Brian, still top of the league, and congrats to Scott, highest score this week. And yeah, let's hope I keep getting more points than Martin and I can overtake him.
Yeah, I'm rooting for you to catch Martin, fam, and pass him.
But we've had a few more join. We were 34 teams, I think, last week. We're up to 40 now.
Oh, damn. That's what
So
I'm talking
we've
about, podcasters, listeners.
we've had
Thank
some,
you.
yeah, we've had some latecomers.
Mhm.
People been messaging me like, "What's the code?" And I'm like, "Why weren't you here at the start?" But you know, better late than
That's
never.
more people for you to beat. That's, you know, they'll never
Yeah.
catch you.
Yeah, better late than never. So yeah, we've got 40 in now, so that's a fun one. We'll keep an eye on that.
Yeah, thanks for joining, y'all. That's dope. I'm glad y'all are doing that. It's good. I like hearing about it. I got a question about the wild card. So the wild card means that you can what?
You can make unlimited transfers that week. You can redo your whole team. It's like a do-over.
Just that week?
No, it's like that's your team now.
That's your team now. So,
but you can only do that once each half of the season. So you can do it twice a season, once in the first half, once after Christmas.
And then you can afford expensive players that normally you couldn't afford. Does it mean that too?
No, you still got the same budget. So, like to get Haaland and Salah in, I've had to sacrifice elsewhere.
Okay. Yeah, and Salah had an assist and a goal today.
2 assists and a goal.
2 assists. He did both assists to Douglas.
To Diaz.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know you got one, but I couldn't remember. But yeah. All right. Damn. All right. And that's fantasy league. And everybody's just joining. You got any last rights? Anything you want to say? Promote?
Just, let's see a new Southampton when we play Man United in 2 weeks.
No.
It's the rebirth coming.
I don't mind seeing a new Southampton, but I want the same results as you've had the last 3 weeks. Let that be like the first step towards y'all getting you. I want you to have some positives, but no points. And then after that, you could flourish. You could fly like a dove. I root for you to smite all our enemies and take points from them. Thanks everybody that came out to the shows in San Fran at the Punchline. It was a fun weekend. The last show, right? Somebody asked me where I was from, and I told them, and then people started yelling out, "I'm a Villa fan. I'm a Liverpool fan," and so there were some football fans that might listen to the podcast in the crowd. I didn't talk to them after, but the show went a little to the point where I had to apologize to the other people. I said, you have no idea what we're talking about right now, but we're talking some gang shit in football. So yeah, there was some football fans in the building. So
nice.
Yeah, so that was cool. And I have a weekend coming up in Batavia and a one-nighter in Denver at the Comedy Works. So go to my socials at Ian Edwards Comic, and you'll see the dates for that. But yeah, thank you all for listening and watching. Be good to each other. Enjoy the international break. Nobody's going to lose, and just pray no Man United player gets injured during oh my God. Please. Ugarte, come back sound. We need you. Please. All right. 1.